Hello, very beautiful community. We're going to be brief today, and I'm going to have a small but constructive rant. There is something that's underspoken about the corrosive harm that European overcompliance in response to Trump's coercion generates. Take a peek at, and this is just a sample, I could have picked one of many videos. This is my Chancellor, the UK Chancellor, Rachel Reeves at Davos.
All of our focus is on de-escalation, not in worst-case scenarios. We have worked incredibly closely with President Trump the last year because we believe it's in our UK national interest to do so. The strategic relationship between the US and the UK, the military and strategic partnership between our countries is more important than the partnership between any two countries in the world. And it's very important for the safety and security of the Western world that that continues.
So she's speaking there about a country that is in many respects no longer an ally and in some respects is an active enemy. And I want to pick especially on Rachel Reeves because she's actually more likable than she comes across in public. She's found the Chancellor job incredibly difficult. And she could do better as a politician if she got some social confidence lessons. She is just giving us an example of the kind of fare that, with some exceptions, we're generally seeing. We have seen some tougher stances. We have seen Mark Carney make a speech about the end of the old international order. But preponderantly, Trump is looking for a lot of European powers to respond with passivity and disunity, and so far he's getting that. Here's a message to Trump from Mark Rutte, which continues the daddy, help me theme. And it's a strategy that a small percentage of you, maybe 10-20% in the community, felt was right a few months ago, and I made several videos being mean to you about why that was mistaken. And the central mistake there is essentially that it's a strategy that works if you think of Trump as an exception and an aberration. If you think of Trump as, in some ways, a product of a very destructive kind of social forces that if we remove Trump would produce a similarly destructive product, if you think that, then Mark Rutte's approach doesn't work. But what I don't want to do just now is to re-legislate all the basic arguments about how Europe can stand up for itself, apply economic leverage against the United States, how Europe, in the way that Anders Bak-Nielsen talked today on his channel, should escalate to de-escalate. You can find Anders' video on his channel or on the community posts of my channels where I link to it, and I'll shove it somewhere here at the end as well. Because what Anders says in the last few minutes there, I particularly agree with. But it's not easy. I mean, it's not easy to ask the Europeans to escalate against Trump when they are so democratically fragile in their domestic politics, right? We've got this link between foreign policy weakness and domestic democratic decline. But here is what I want to say that goes largely unspoken about the additional harm sucking up to Trump and being complicit with his coercion, the special unspoken harm it does. It is scaring the bejesus out of ordinary citizens who are already losing trust in politics. Think of the 4 emotions of distrust that we typically talk about on the channels. Feeling unsafe, when you feel your government is not competent, number 1. Number 2, feeling powerless, when you feel there's nothing you can do to inflect the political process. Number 3, feeling betrayed, that your government is prioritizing some kind of category of the other instead of you. And worst of all, this feeling of opacity, this feeling about the unintelligibility of politics as a kind of sports game you gaze upon but can't make sense of because it looks like 4 or 5 different sports mixed together. And you've got footballs and, cricket bats and golf balls and tennis rackets, and you really can't make sense of it. It's unintelligible. That's way worse than bad, because a practice that's bad, an institution that's bad, is conceivably reformable, but a practice that's unintelligible makes no sense. So you want to throw tomatoes at it and destroy it. That's the law. And all of these emotions are dramatized when your national politicians are clearly being passive and weak and inarticulate about Trump's threats. It's making you feel unsafe because you don't feel defended. It's making you feel betrayed because your politicians are not standing up for you properly. It's making you feel worse than powerless, because what you feel is not just that you are powerless, but that they are powerless. Your political representatives are powerless. And it also feels unintelligible, right? How have we got to a position like this, that these people seem to be speaking in a way that is not properly conjoined with reality, not properly conjoined with the reality of the challenges and threats we face? It's a kind of a startling incapacity that means that something is fundamentally wrong, that the game of politics has broken down. So it reinforces this feeling of opacity. I mean, this is so bizarre. I don't know how this game works anymore, and I might as well give up on it. And what happens when that happens? We elect our own Trumps. Don't forget, the central threat Trump poses to Europeans, certainly to West Europeans, is not invasion, either by Trump or by some foreign power against which Trump doesn't stand up enough, like the Russians. The central threat we face is a kind of mimicry, a kind of contagion, which is not to say that we are free from the disease and Trump's America has it, we're going to catch it. We have the disease too, but doing nothing in the face of Trump's disinhibited conduct accelerates the progression of our disease, which we share with the Americans, and we share it with the Russians too. They are just more advanced, much more advanced. So what you're doing essentially is accelerating post-truth authoritarians who want to break the democratic game into office by devastating further citizen trust. That's what you do when you suck up to Trump, and when he threatens to break up your security alliance, essentially by taking Greenland. You say that this is your key pillar relationship of cooperation, and that is your daddy. Give it 5 years, and the logical terminus of that is that these politicians doing the sucking up are not going to be in office. We're going to have post-truth authoritarian populists in office. Now, that's not the only reason they're going to potentially end up there, but it's a central push in that direction when we fail to stand up to Trump's coercion. We're going to become like him. We're going to elect versions of him in office. Then an interesting question follows. Will the European authoritarian right be anti-Trumpian or pro-Trumpian? And the answer is interesting. We'll discuss it. But as far as the welfare of your democracy goes, it doesn't matter, right? Because if you have your own Trump and he's broken your democratic game, whether your Trump is opposed to other Trumps doesn't affect the question of whether your democratic game works or not. It's broken. So the corrosive impact on public trust is what we're not talking about when we're processing the pros and cons of the kind of speech that dear Rachel Reeves just made there for us. Lots of love. Talk soon.